everyone, it's Valerie from Eartharella Soap and Candle Company. Today I am making my Fruit Explosion soap. It's going to be a really fruity, citrusy soap. The fragrance I'm using is actually a blend of a couple of different fragrances that I have from FragranceBuddy.com. So I'm mixing up a couple of different fragrances to make this really super fruity and citrusy. My batter is going to be like a neutral batter with different colors swirled in. And the colors I'm using is this one. The blue is going to be Brilliant Blue by Nurture Soap. The purple is going to be Purple Vibrance by Nurture Soap. The green is going to be Granny Smith Green, and this is by Crafter's Choice. And the orangish pinkish color that I'm using is actually called Mai Tai Orange. It's a really pretty color, so I'm going to be using that. So these are going to be the colors. They're either going to be like, I'm not sure if they're going to be quite like swirls or like thin layers throughout it. I'm going to try and do a new method today, so we'll see how it turns out. I'm really not sure how exactly it's going to look. But those are the four colors that I'm going to incorporate in my neutral color base. And then on top of my soap, I'm going to have frosting, but I'm going to be using Yellow Neon frosting, and this is by Nurture Soap. This is a really pretty, really bright neon yellow, and I chose this color because I'm going to have fruit embeds on top of my soap, and I really wanted them to stand out against a color, and I didn't want to just do white. So these are my embeds that I've made. I actually have only just a few here. I made 36 of each of these fruits for on top of my soaps because I'm going to have 36 bars. So each bar is going to have 4 embeds. So I have these are my favorites, the little oranges, the little orange slices. So I have the orange slices, the grapes, the little blueberries, and the strawberries. And the strawberries, I painted little green stems on them. So these are melt and pour soaps. So I used my silicone molds to make these, and it took quite a while. It took me about 2 days, while making them, while waiting them to get, hardened enough. So it's something I worked on and off for a couple days. So these are going to be my embeds for on top of the soap. And I am going to be doing 2 loaves, so I'm going to be doing 1 loaf at a time because of the design that I want to do. So for the second loaf, I'll probably just fast forward through the whole thing so you can see it in fast motion and you don't have to see it all over again in slow motion. So I'm going to get my gloves on and get started. So these are my oils that I have just for this first loaf of soap, and my lye water is going to go in. I don't want to mix this too much because I do want to be able to get my colors. I want it to be more fluid for my colors, I should say. So I'm going to split some of this off. Actually, I think I'll put my fragrance oil in right now. Stir that in. I'm going to pour this off into my containers, and not all of it, just some. I'm going to add in my colors. I'm going to use a teaspoon in each one. I really love this Mai Tai orange color. It's so pretty. Kind of like a coral almost. I usually do a lot of muted colors, like pastels and things, but I thought for this one, for the fruit themed soap, that I would do something a little bit more bold in color. Those are the 4 colors I'm going to use. Give them a mix. A very quick mix. I don't want it to get too thick on me. So those colors look beautiful. I love how they look. I'm going to get my pouring pitcher here. I'm going to use this pitcher. I'm going to pour my neutral batter into this pitcher. It'll just make it easier to pour into the molds. And now I'm going to be pouring out of, this is the spout, so over to the side, and this side I'm going to put my colors right up against the side of the container. Purple first. And then we'll do Mai Tai orange. Go with the green. I gotta say, these fragrance oils are working perfectly. I love that they are not thickening up on me. Alright, so now I'm gonna grab my mold. And I'm just gonna pour it. Actually, what I wanted to do is I wanted to pour it at an angle. Let me just grab something. Hopefully you can still see that. But I want to pour it at an angle, and I'm going to go across, back and forth and back and forth. To the top now. And I'm gonna leave it just like that. I'm not gonna play with it. I'm not gonna do anything with it. All those colors, you can see all of the colors. Because my batter was so thin, I think some of them might have kind of gotten a little muddy together, but I'm gonna leave it just the way it is, and I'm gonna do the same thing with my next loaf. Okay, so my frosting has finally set up. It did take a great while for my frosting to finally get at the consistency that I need for frosting. I do want to point out the differences between the two soaps. You saw me pour this one, and this one was very fluid. And you can see how it almost looks like tie-dye a little bit. It's very pretty, very pretty. This one I blended the colors a little bit more on purpose. I wanted them to be a little bit thicker. I wanted to see the difference that it made being more fluid versus a little bit thicker because they're the exact same batch, and I just want to see how the colors turn out in my final soaps. So they're probably gonna look different when I cut them, and I wanna see the differences. That way, when I make soaps in the future, I can decide if I want it to be a little bit more fluid or a little bit thicker. So that is why they look different. So I'm gonna go ahead and pipe my frosting now. And like I said, I am using this neon yellow color because I wanted a color that I didn't have any of my embeds. There were the different colors in my embeds, and I wanted a color that they were really gonna stand out and pop on top of my soap. I want this to be a really colorful, fruity soap. So I'm gonna go ahead and pipe my frosting. Okay, so this is it. All of my embeds fit on top. I was a little concerned at first if they were all gonna fit, but they did. And I am really glad I went with the yellow frosting because everything really pops on it. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 24 hours, and I will be back tomorrow to unmold. Okay guys, it's been about 23 hours and it is time to cut my soaps. If you noticed in the video, I poured them at 2 different consistencies. This was the first one that I poured, and it kind of had that tie-dye kind of look to it when I poured it. So this is what this one looks like on the side. Hopefully you can see that in the video. So you can see how it's it just has like all the colors are together, like kind of blended together. The second one, I purposely blended the colors a little bit more. I wanted them to be a little bit thicker, and I wanted to see the difference that it would make between the 2 pours. So this is what the second one looks like. Now, mind you, it's the exact same batch, exact same ingredients, exact same colors. The only difference is this one was really fluid, and this one had a little bit of a thicker trace. It was probably around a medium trace. So I'm interested to see what they will both look like on the inside. I can tell you they smell really, really good. So I'm gonna grab my cutter. So I'm gonna cut the first one that I poured first. So this is the one that was really fluid when I poured it. That looks amazing. I love that. I love all the colors. Can you see all of the different colors? It just kind of blended in. That's really cool. I really like how that turned out. I really didn't know what to expect, but I really like that. And then as I got towards, when I was pouring it, as I was getting towards the bottom of the pitcher, I had a lot of the uncolored, so that's why you see that more at the top of the bars. But that looks really cool. I love it. It really ties in everything, all the fruits all together. So that's really cool. I'm gonna cut the second one now. And I'm gonna cut this one the same way on the side. Want to make sure none of my embeds are going to get cut off. Okay. And that is what a thicker trace looked like. Kind of looks more like a drop swirl almost. Looks really, really interesting. I like it. A lot more white. And I think I actually used a little bit more color in my little pictures. I thought I had a little bit more than I had in the first one, but maybe I didn't. It just seemed like I did. But that's really beautiful. So you can, I'll show you a side-by-side comparison. So this one was the more fluid one, and this is the more thicker. Exact same batch, you know, exact same everything except for just the thickness of my batter when I poured it. So really happy with both of how these turned out. I really like how the colors really tie everything together with the fruits that are on top. And they have a little sparkle to them because I put some of that bio glitter on them. So yeah, that's the difference between the liquid batter and one that was a little bit thicker of a trace. So really happy with both of how these turned out. I'm gonna have to play around more with this kind of method. Maybe I'll try some different things, but I really liked the pour. I thought it was easy to do, and it was just one I hadn't tried before in this particular method. So really glad how these turned out. Oh, they smell so good. I smell grapefruit mainly. I smell a lot of grapefruit, but there's other fruits in here like strawberry and orange. So that's everything I wanted to show you for this soap. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel because I'm going to have a lot more soaps coming. I'm trying to make more and more every week, so I'll have more coming. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.